Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Last night, late afternoon, a video was dropped by Danielle Cohn. Now, we haven't really talked about her on this channel, and you might not even know who she is, so I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. Danielle Cohn is a 14-year-old girl. She has a TikTok with about 18 million followers, a YouTube page with around 1.7 million subscribers. She's got a large Instagram following. She has made her fame doing cute little dances on TikTok. She was a former pageant girl from Florida. She won like a Little Young Miss Florida back a few years ago. She has been sort of this girl that's been on the move, and her parents or her mother has been promoting her and trying to make her famous for a very long time. So Danielle has been sort of embroiled in this drama related to her age. Now, this video, for instance, right off the bat, is not to say anything negatively about Danielle. It's not to drag her or humiliate her. This video is not about Danielle, but rather about her family, her mother, and all of this sort of dysfunction that surrounds her. So Danielle has a parent who has two parents who are in a very divisive relationship. They were together for a lot of years. They are now separated or divorced, or I don't even think they were ever married. Jennifer, her mother, has custody of Danielle, and her father, Dustin, has been sort of trying to reveal things about her and her mother online to sort of refute things. One of the most hotly contested things about her is her age. So Jennifer and Danielle assert that she just turned 16 in March, and Dustin says that's not true. She's 14. Now, Dustin and his mother actually posted her birth certificate last year, and then again this spring, or actually no, just last month, as he sort of posted more information about her. So Dustin has this sort of estranged relationship from the two of them, and he is tired of the fact that he says that his ex is using Dani for views, for clicks, and putting her in precarious situations and not protecting her or allowing her to be a child. Dani's mom, Jennifer, has, been very involved in making her daughter work. There was an interview, I actually saw it on Spill Sesh, I think, talking about how she makes Dani work 7 days a week, doesn't give Dani time off. Dani has multiple social media accounts. She is a very busy young girl, and she's also known for putting out content that is very risque for a child. And it's those photos and that image that has her dad outraged. And they also were not being truthful about her age. So they say that she's 16. He says she's 14. Her birth certificate says she's 14. And people from her life all say she's 14. Like, people that were in school with her have come out, and they've made photos of showing yearbooks that she was in school at this time. A pageant that she won would have proven that she would be this age. You can look through her Instagram and kind of see the progression of her, and you can tell that she was very young only a few years ago and now suddenly is being dressed like a woman. So there's been a lot of controversy around her. For Dani's part, she seems like a sweet girl. She loves to dance. She's very bubbly. She clearly has a very likable persona, but her aesthetic on her channel and on her TikTok and on her Instagram is all for like older audiences. I would say that she dresses more like she's someone in her 20s and going to the club. So she's appealing to men, and she's 14. And these types of photos began circulating on her Instagram around 10 years old. So there's a lot of controversy surrounding Jennifer, okay? And apparently there are people from her life that are not okay with that. And so she's also been embroiled in battles and in controversy. She had a faked pregnancy from last fall, where she and her boyfriend Mikey were, caught doing a fake out. There was a humongous drama with her boyfriend Mikey, who they split up and now they're back together. But he's 17. He's actually now 18 years old. She's 14. And he had no idea about her age. His mom and dad found out about Danielle's age, tried to cut the two of them out from each other, tried to get Mikey away from her. And then Jennifer somehow allows Mikey to start living with them, gets him, like, talks to him about getting emancipated. And now Mikey lives with them, and she's 14 years old and he's 18. Now, Mikey's been on tape, and there's audio tape that's been put out on Instagram where he's talking about all the shady things that Jen has done behind the scenes, the filming, how much Jen makes her work, Dani, how much Jen makes him work. There's just been a lot of criticism around Jen utilizing her children to make money, and now using Mikey. So obviously there's this controversy. She's dating a guy that's 18. She's 14. They're still saying she's 16, even though she's 14. Are you caught up? And yesterday she actually goes out on her channel and she has to reveal that she had an abortion. So she was, that last January or so, she starts posting on her Instagram and on her sort of TikTok that she's sad and she's going through some stuff and she has to have a procedure. And then she gets this tattoo on her side that's like wings with a date on it. And that had people sort of wondering, like, why would she put angel wings with the date on her, like as though something had happened, someone was gone. And so then they started speculating that she had lost a child. So last week, some audio is leaked, and it's leaked by a family friend named Virginia. And Virginia apparently has known this family since 2014. She was someone that apparently lived next to them in the same apartment complex. She met them at school. Apparently, her mom, Dani's mom, was a paraprofessional in a gym class that her daughter was in. And Virginia's daughter is apparently 6 months younger than Dani, who is and so her daughter's 13, Dani is 14, and the two of them were friends. So apparently Virginia was around the family for a very long time and got to a point where she just could no longer take it anymore, didn't like what she was seeing anymore, and decided that she needed to put out some information about her. And she says that she calls CPS. She also puts out an audio clip of Jennifer and Dani fighting, and Jennifer admitting that she allowed her daughter to have an abortion, that she's allowing her daughter to do all of these things, that she doesn't have any boundaries for her daughter, and that her daughter speaks to her very horribly, that she's cold-hearted. It was a really deeply troubling voice memo that you just wouldn't want to have anyone put out. But Virginia asserts that she did it because she was tired of everyone around Dani like lying for her. So apparently Virginia asserts that everybody involved in Dani's life is covering for her age, is helping Jennifer keep her away from her father, Dustin, is finding ways, like one of the biggest things is that she's 14 years old and she has multiple tattoos, which is not legal. So there's an account that went live yesterday on Instagram. It was called Corn on the Cohn Reel. And it went public for a very short period of time. It's now private, but it went public to put out a bunch of voice memos and a bunch of screenshots. And in those screenshots were some more things from Virginia. So basically, because Virginia put out this voice memo that had Jennifer admitting on audio that Danielle had an abortion, Danielle then had to go on YouTube and made a video talking about the truth of her abortion. So this is, again, not to drag Danielle, because her having to make this statement and having to even come out and be honest about this is like wholly tragic, and it's such a private situation, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone at all. And she, in her video, Danielle said, I had to do this because someone close to me decided to out this, and it's really terrible because I trusted her and I loved her, and now she's trying to ruin us. Well, Virginia says, no, that's not true. She's just really fed up with the fact that Jennifer's using Danielle for work. She's exploiting her daughter. She's also said that she called CPS. She said that she shared text messages of between Jennifer and Dani's manager talking about how to, avoid Dani from having to see her father, Dustin. And even talking about how the tattoos that she allowed her daughter to get were illegal. There was, information about why it was that she came forward. There was details about how they were allowing a young girl that was 17 to stay at their house because her brother was apparently, Jen's brother, who's 27, had a thing for this girl, and this girl was only 17 years old. And there's all these voice memos that were released by the same page on Instagram, and then were shared wider, and then so the account goes public, and then it locks down, and Virginia dumps all this stuff to this account, and then it's gone. So I grabbed all of it before she went private again. She made an announcement, said, hey, I'm going to be public just for a little bit till I can get this information out, till all of you guys screenshot it, and then I'm going to go private again. So all of the information is out. Virginia's saying that she's trying to do this to help. Then there's all these Instagram accounts trying to expose all of this information about Jennifer. And then poor Dani is sort of stuck in the crosshair. She's a 14-year-old girl who is being told that she needs to say that she's 16. She's posting content on her channel and on her TikTok and on her Instagram that's very troubling for a kid. I used to be a tennis coach and I used to work with kids a lot. And I will say that I worked with kids this age, and I did not know kids that dressed like this. I did not know kids that acted like this. I did not know kids or know parents that allowed this kind of stuff to happen, especially when they were 13 or 12 years old. So the kind of stuff that's on her Instagram is very concerning, and it's clear that it's driven around clicks and views because people want to see this kind of stuff. She's in makeup a very pretty girl, and not, I mean, even without makeup, she's a pretty girl, but with makeup, it's clear that what they're going for, let's just say. So Dani has to put out this video, which overwhelmingly was received positively. She has a very young fan base, and she was saying, you know, it's okay if you have to do this. It's okay if this happens. It's okay, you know, and she was kind of minimizing it and saying, you know, it only happened one time. It was a mistake. I didn't realize what was happening. This isn't what I do. And then there's these questions about, well, why is your boyfriend living with you? Why is your mom allowing your boyfriend to live with you? Because let's be honest, she doesn't have a choice. It's her mom that can make these choices legally. And Dani doesn't, she's a minor. Her parents are the ones that are supposed to be making these choices. And her mom and dad are embroiled in this bitter fight online that's not helping anyone. Dani actually did a video where she had to go online as well, sort of talking about her father and saying, like, he's not a good person. He uses substances. He's very violent. He doesn't want anything to do with me. Her critics say that Jen is poisoning her daughter and alienating her from her father. Her brother, her older brother, says that his former stepdad is horrible. It's such a confusing story, and in the middle of all of this, there's this girl that has not been protected. She's obviously been failed by both parents, in my opinion, and is still being put in a position where, at a very vulnerable place in her life, is having to make statements about these kinds of things, which, by the way, Dani, like, you might not ever see this, but you are brave, and you should not have had to share that, and you are completely... It's good that you did. The message that you sent to the kids in the video was, you know, she told kids, like, don't be ashamed. You know, these things can happen. You know, it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up. You know, speak about it, talk about it, be real about it, talk about the consequences, understand all of these things. She really got into things very deeply, which no one should have to do. That's such a personal thing. And I can't help but think that the video was made as a response to defend her mother. I can't see why, under any other circumstances, she would even address it. Just because there's haters online implying it, and just because this audio leaked, the only reason I can think that this would be made would be to defend her mother and to protect her mother from any sort of legal responsibility. And so here we are now. There's all this stuff out here about Jen. There's all this stuff out here about her dad, Dustin. And there's this little girl that is stuck in the middle who is making her mom a ton of money, who has, you know, they've moved from an apartment building to having this very luxurious home and a vacation home and, you know, jet skis, and they're traveling all the time. And, you know, it's clear that Jen has her daughter working to live a lifestyle that she wants to live, and to have a lifestyle that she wants to have that she couldn't achieve by herself. And so her daughter is that vehicle to have that lifestyle. And necessarily people are worried about that, and people are worried, like, why is TikTok allowing this? Why is YouTube allowing this? Why isn't anyone stepping in for Dani? Why isn't anyone protecting her? Why are all the adults that are in her life exploiting her? And it comes to a point where you just have to say, why isn't anyone doing anything? Why isn't anyone helping her? Why isn't anyone telling her, you don't have to make these videos? It's nobody's business. This doesn't matter. These are private matters. And more certainly, obviously, the people that are putting this information out, I can understand why they want to, like, expose it, but at the same time, like, you also need to make sure that she's protected, right? And not made to be feeling bullied, because nobody should be bullying this girl at all. Nobody should. This is not her fault. This has been going on since she's been a child. Her mom started her in beauty pageants and then propelled her and sort of manufactured her Instagram account based on an image that was way above her age, beyond what she should have been wearing, beyond the image she should have been portraying. But she knew that it would appeal to people because of how her daughter looked. Her daughter developed at a very young age, and she exploited that. And I don't know why these kinds of accounts and these kinds of photos were allowed on Instagram. They're still up on Instagram. I don't see other kids posting these kinds of videos or these kinds of photos. It's very concerning. And she has a very young fan base. So, and the way that she looked in her video yesterday is not at all how she looks like on Instagram. She was like in a sweatshirt, in like scrubs, sweatpants, no makeup, glasses, hair pulled back. She looked like a kid, not like how she's on Instagram. So I know it's a lot, but I want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think about a mother using her child as a vehicle to make money, putting her daughter in a situation without boundaries, without anything, selling her daughter as an adult, even though she's not, lying about her age, and then running away from anyone that's trying to hold her accountable? And then it gets to a point where the only way people will actually listen is by other people exposing her, which then further puts Dani, who's already being exploited by her mom, in a further position of being victimized. Who's going to step in for Dani and actually protect her? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.